The Gap Band, an iconic American funk and soul group, made a lasting mark on music history through their dynamic sound and infectious grooves. The trio, comprising brothers Charlie, Ronnie, and Robert Wilson, emerged as one of the most influential bands of the late 1970s and 1980s. With their unique blend of funk, R&B, and elements of disco, the Gap Band not only defined an era but also influenced generations of musicians who followed. The early days. The group originated in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the Wilson brothers were raised in a deeply musical family. Their father was a minister, and their mother was heavily involved in the church choir, where the brothers honed their vocal skills. The group's name, the Gap Band, was inspired by three streets in Tulsa, Greenwood, Archer, and Pine, that were central to the historic Black Wall Street district. The name was a tribute to their hometown and a nod to the cultural and economic legacy of the area. Initially, the Gap Band began as a large ensemble in the early 1970s, playing a variety of musical styles, including R&B and funk, and performing in local venues. They gained regional popularity but struggled to break into the national spotlight during their early years. In 1974, they released their debut album, Magician's Holiday, which demonstrated their potential but fell short commercially. Breakthrough success. The Gap Band's fortunes began to change when they caught the attention of music producer and songwriter Leon Russell. They became Russell's backing band, performing with him on tour and learning the intricacies of the music business. This experience sharpened their skills and prepared them for the big leagues. Their major breakthrough came in 1979, when they signed with Mercury Records and released The Gap Band, their self-titled album. This album featured tracks like Shake, that showcased their talent for crafting irresistible funk grooves. However, it was their subsequent album, The Gap Band 2, 1979, that established them as a force in the music industry. The album included hits such as Steppin' Out and I Don't Believe You Want to Get Up and Dance Oops. The Gap Band's next album, The Gap Band 3, 1980, solidified their reputation as funk pioneers. It featured the chart-topping single, Burn Rubber on Me, Why You Wanna Hurt Me, a funk anthem characterized by its driving bass line and Charlie Wilson's charismatic vocals. This song not only became a dance floor favorite but also introduced their signature sound, blending funky rhythms with soulful melodies. The peak of their career. The Gap Band reached the height of their popularity in the early 1980s, releasing a string of successful albums and singles. The Gap Band IV, 1982, became one of their most celebrated albums, featuring classics like Outstanding, You Dropped a Bomb on Me, and Early in the Morning. These songs became instant hits, dominating R&B charts and crossing over to mainstream audiences. Outstanding, in particular, became a cultural touchstone, heavily sampled in hip-hop and R&B tracks in later decades. The group's music was characterized by powerful horn arrangements, funky bass lines, and Charlie Wilson's distinctive vocal style, which was a blend of smooth crooning and dynamic improvisation. Charlie's voice became the defining feature of the band's sound, earning him recognition as one of the premier vocalists of the era. His vocal stylings heavily influenced future artists like Aaron Hall, R. Kelly, and even contemporary performers like Bruno Mars. Legacy and influence. Beyond their chart success, the Gap Band's impact on music was far-reaching. They were pioneers in the funk and R&B genres, blending traditional soul music with the synthesizers and drum machines that defined the 1980s sound. Their songs were frequently sampled in hip-hop and R&B, with artists such as NWA, Mary J. Blige, and Snoop Dogg using elements of their tracks to create new hits. Charlie Wilson, in particular, became a mentor to younger artists and continued to reinvent himself long after the Gap Band's heyday. His solo career, which began in the 1990s, brought him new acclaim as a respected elder statesman of R&B, earning Grammy nominations and collaborations with artists like Kanye West and Pharrell Williams. Challenges and decline. Like many groups of their era, the Gap Band faced challenges as musical trends shifted in the late 1980s and early 1990s. The rise of hip-hop and new jack swing overshadowed traditional funk bands, and their popularity began to wane. The group continued to release albums, but their later work did not achieve the same level of commercial success. Additionally, personal struggles and internal conflicts took a toll on the band. Charlie Wilson battled substance abuse during the later years of the band's career, though he eventually overcame these challenges and became an advocate for addiction recovery. The end of an era. The Gap Band officially disbanded in 2010, but their music remains timeless. Their songs continue to be celebrated and rediscovered by new generations, ensuring their legacy endures. The band's contributions to funk, R&B, and popular music are immeasurable, and their influence is evident in countless artists and genres. Honoring their legacy, in recognition of their contributions to music, the Gap Band received numerous accolades, including Lifetime Achievement Awards and inductions into various music halls of fame. Their songs are staples on classic R&B and funk playlists, and their sound is still sampled and covered by contemporary musicians. The Gap Band's story is one of resilience, innovation, and enduring influence. From their humble beginnings in Tulsa to becoming global funk icons, the Wilson brothers created a musical legacy that continues to inspire. Their hits remain a testament to the power of groove, melody, and the unifying spirit of music.